Heather, my darling wife and camera person, I have told you to only start filming when I'm doing something cool. This is embarrassing. I can't let my kids see me doing something embarrassing like this. Ah! Math time, kiddos. And when I say time, we're really looking at time. So I'm going to start us off with a little review of some of the things that we did last week. Taking a look at this clock. What time is it? If you said it is 10 o'clock, you're absolutely right. Strategies that you want to use. Now, last week we had all these cool red and blue hands, and it was real obvious on what time we were trying to figure out. But here, it's all black and white, like you might see on a test or on the SOLs next year. So what I need to do with this is I need to always find that short hand. And then when I find it, I'm going to circle it. I'm going to circle this one. I'm going to circle this one. And I'm going to circle this one. Why is it so important to figure out where that shorthand is on a clock first? What do you think? If you said because it's important to figure out what hour it is, you are absolutely right. So when we look at our clock here, we find that shorthand. I always like to extend it out, and I can see that I'm pointing directly at the 10. And my minute hand, the longer hand, is pointed at the 12, which means that it is 10 o'clock on the dot. Let's take a look at this second clock. We've already circled that short hour hand. What time do you see on this clock? That's a tough one, so let's see if we can figure it out. I remember that the clock always goes in this direction. That's called clockwise. It goes around and around in a circle. My shorthand, the hour hand, it's somewhere between 9 and 10. But since I remember that my clock goes in this direction, clockwise, I know it's 9 something. Now these numbers on a clock also give me a clue as the minutes. The longer hand is pointing at the 3, but it's not 9:03. These count for 5 minutes each. So it would be 9:05, 9:10, 9:15. Let's take it to the third grade level with clock number 3. Take a look at this clock, and I'm going to give you 15 seconds to figure out what time it is. What time is it on that clock? All right. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at our hour hand. We extend it out. We can see that it's between 8 and 9 o'clock. I remember that the clock is moving in this direction. We also remember from last week that that hour hand is moving very slowly. And unless you stared at a clock for an hour, you probably wouldn't see it move at all. So I know already that it is 8 something. Then I'm going to do my skip counting again. 8:05, 8:10, 8:15, 8:20, 8:25, 8:30, then it's 8:31, 8:32. Now, these are Mr. Thompson's hand-drawn clocks, so there's certainly going to be some flaws in them. If you said any time between 8:30 and 8:35, meaning 8:31, 32, 33, or 34, you are being a very accurate time teller. Let's take a look at our fourth clock. I even smudged it some because it was getting a little messy. What time do you see on this clock? So this is one of the trickier clocks that you're going to see telling time in third grade. First, I'm going to start with that hour hand, which I've already circled. I extend it straight out, and it's pretty close to the 8, but it's not at 8 yet, which tells me the hour is 7. Now I have to figure out my minutes. I'm going to do my skip counting again. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49. So 7:49 for this clock. The second part of time that we're going to study in third grade is elapsed time. What elapsed times means is this. Let me go ahead and give you an example. Let's say you started doing your reading assignment at 1 o'clock and you worked for 3 hours. What time did you finish that assignment? Let me show you a great strategy for that. A great strategy is using a number line. Here is 1 o'clock. I know I did my assignment for 3 hours. Hopefully it didn't take you that long. Maybe you were making some amazing revisions to your work. I'm going to go ahead and hop. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, which would be 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. Now, this number line strategy, you're thinking to yourself, well, Mr. Thompson, I can just take 1 o'clock, add 3 hours to it, and know that it's 4 o'clock. This is a great strategy moving forward as you start telling time in 4th and 5th grade as it becomes more complicated, which is why I'm showing you an excellent strategy that'll work now and as you continue your elementary math career. Let's look at another example that's similar to that. Let's say I started playing video games at 3:45. So I know that the beginning of my number line is going to be 3:45. And then I played video games for 6 hours. Hopefully that's not you. Maybe it was. I won't tell anybody. So I'm going to have to make 6 hops on my number line. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then I have to think about what time was it at each one of these hops. So 3:45, what would be an hour later than 3:45? If you said 4:45, you're absolutely correct. Then we're just going to keep counting forward. 5:45, 6:45, 7:45, 8:45, and 9:45.
Sounds like our kids.
Let's double check my hops to make sure. I have 1 hop, 2 hops, 3 hops, 4 hops, 5 hops, and 6 hops. So I can see that if I started playing games at 3:45 and I played for 6 hours, I finished playing games at 9:45. Now let's switch it up a little bit. Let's say that you started playing outside at 6:15 in the morning. 6:15 in the morning. And you played outside until 10:15. How long did you play for? Once again, the hops on the number line work perfectly as a strategy to solve a problem like this. I'm going to hop 1 hour forward. What is 1 hour after 6:15? That's correct, 7:15. Then I'm going to hop another hour forward. Now I'm at 8:15. I'm going to hop another hour forward, which puts me at 9:15. Then I'm going to hop 1 more hour forward to 10:15. But it asks me, how long did I play for? Looking at my timeline here, how can we figure out how many hours we played if we started at 6:15 and we ended at 10:15? What do you think? If you said count the number of hops, you are absolutely correct. So we played for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, and 4 hours. Let's try one more. We started playing at 12:35. And we ended playing at 5:35. This example does a really good job of explaining how and why you should use this number line. Because 12, 5, well, I get a little confused in trying to find a difference like I could between 1 and 4. So this is once again where my hops really, really help me out. So I'm going to get started at 12:35. I'm going to hop ahead 1 hour, which will make the time 1:35. 1 hour more will be 2:35. 1 hour more, 3:35. 1 hour more, 4:45. And 1 hour more, we are at 5:35. I like to go back and check my work. 12:35, 1:35, 2:35, 3:35, 4:45. Wait, that's not right. Everybody makes mistakes. That's why everybody should always check over their work, especially if they're putting it on YouTube. 4:35 and 5:35. Then if I'm going to figure out how many hours passed between 12:35 and 5:35, what do you do? The answer to that is you count your hops. 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, 4 hours, and 5 hours. Your homework before we meet on Wednesday for Zoom is you need to make a clock. Let me show you how to make a clock. You can take a piece of paper, you can use a whiteboard, you can build one out of a paper plate. It's really up to you, but I'm pretty sure that everybody has a piece of paper and maybe a marker or a pencil that they can use to make their own clock. So let me demonstrate how to do that. Draw a circle about the whole size of your piece of paper. And then directly in the middle, my wife is laughing at me from behind the camera because it doesn't look like a circle. It looks like an egg because she knows I can't draw. Fortunately, she's an excellent artist, and we're hoping that our kids have inherited her art talent and not mine. So in the middle of your egg or your circle, whichever one it is, camera person, you're going to try to put a big dot in the middle of it because that's going to be where your hands extend from. Then you're going to set up the numbers on your clock. And the simplest way to do that is this. On the very top of your clock, you put a 12. On the very bottom of your clock, you put a 6. Then on the right side of your clock, you put a 3. And on the left side of your clock, you put a 9. Then you just simply try to space these out evenly and put the numbers in between. So 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 is already there, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 o'clock. Now you're asking, should I draw hands on my clock? And the answer to that is no. What I would recommend doing is going around your house. See if you can find maybe a pencil and a pen, maybe a pencil and a crayon, something that fits inside of your clock that you could use as the short hand and the long hand of your clock. Now mine extend out a little too far, and that's okay. We're not working for perfect here. We're just trying to make sure that we have one hand that's longer and one hand that's shorter. So if you look at my clock right here, it says that it is 9 o'clock. On Wednesday, you need to have this ready if you can, because I'm going to be giving you a bunch of time in digital format, and you're going to be building the time on your analog clock. If you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to me at any time for any reason. I am here to help you. Thank you, and I'll see you in the reading video.